Hi, Tracy here with BibleJournalingMinistries.com, and today I'm going to show you how to add vellum to your Bible using our new digital stamps. Our digital stamps is a brand new line. I'm super excited to share it with you, but our digital stamps allow you to manipulate images so that you get what you're looking for. All of our stamps come with the main image, so this one is called Seeking You. It comes with the main image, which is a .png file, so that the background is going to be transparent, so you can print this on any color cardstock and you won't get any white showing through. And it comes with a kit as well, so you're going to get kind of this coloring page sort of kit that has the margin element for you, as well as additional elements that you can use for tip-ins or whatever you'd like. The greatest thing about the digital stamps is that you can put it into a word processing platform like Word, or something that you might have. Maybe you have a graphics program that you can use, and you can use this image to create larger sizes, smaller sizes. You could flip them, you can do whatever you want to, and that way if you want to make different tip-ins, if for some reason the kit's not really working for you, you don't like the font, maybe you want it to say something else, then you can put it into one of your word processing programs or your photo editing program or whatever you have, graphics program, and you can put the image in there and then add any words you like. So it really gives you more flexibility at a great price. So this is the first one, and it's called Seeking You, and we also have Esther available as well. And so those are the ones that are currently available, and we're going to be adding more and more as we get them designed. So another thing you might want to do as well with the digital stamps, I just wanted to show you that you can also make bigger pictures, and this one would be great if you wanted to color it and then frame it and give it away as a gift. So you can make cards, you can make pictures, you can make tip-ins, you can make your own margin elements with our digital stamps. So have fun with them. I hope you like them, and we're going to go ahead and get started with our tutorial. So today we are using the Seeking You digital image stamp, and I have printed it out on vellum paper. Vellum paper is a little difficult to work with in general, but I wanted to let you know that it's really fun, and when you place it in your Bible, it's pretty much see-through. It looks really great. So I'm excited to share with you how to use this. Today I'm going to be using Jane Davenport's ink. Basically these are water they're called like aqua brushes, and these are her mermaid, I think it's called the mermaid line. I'll link up to it. But basically this is ink in a paintbrush. So it's got a little paintbrush on it. And apparently if you use all of the ink in here, which I can actually see me doing because it's a really beautiful line, you can refill these with different types of inks. So these are really fun, and I'm excited to use them today. I'm also going to be using my Craft Bond Elmer's glue. This is, it's temporary, or it says permanent bond, and it is acid free. So I'm excited to use this, and I'm going to be using scissors to cut the image out. I will also need a craft mat to protect my surface, so I'll be using the Ranger craft mat. And I always use the Ranger craft mat, but there is also an alternative that I have purchased, which is pretty good as well, and it's from Amazon. The cheap mats like this I've used in the past, and they've leaked through, but this one so far I'm still testing and it has not leaked through. So I will let you know as we continue to use it if it's any good or not. So I will put a link up to it as well if you're interested. It's cheaper and it seems to work. It doesn't have a smooth surface as the Ranger craft mat, but it's bigger and it works well. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is just cut out this image. You don't have to be super detailed. You can just cut around it. As long as you don't cut her head off, you should be fine. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay, and then I can save these for later. Now I just printed that digital image. I brought it into Word, and then I just put a couple images on there. I probably could have squeezed a couple more down at the bottom of this to save on this vellum, but I didn't. So if you start to use the stamps and you want to add more, you definitely can do that. Now when I print on vellum, I always like to print reversed of the way I want to use it, because I like to color on the opposite side. So what I mean by that is, and actually it doesn't create much of a problem, especially if it's dry, but sometimes if you have your laser jet ink on the vellum and then you add like water, like something really watery to it, then it will pull off that black, and then it will kind of mix in with your colors. So instead of getting a beautiful peach arm or, you know, a beautiful tan arm, you might get black arm, charcoal looking dirty arm. So what I do is I print the image backwards. I flip it horizontally so that I can color on the wrong side of the paper. If that makes sense. And just for your reference, we're going to be in Isaiah chapter 26, verse 9, and it says, "In the night I search for you, in the morning I earnestly seek you." And so when she's done, she's going to be placed right here in my Inspire Bible. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I get ahead of myself, so let's go ahead and get started. So I really like these inks by Jane Davenport. I think they're really, really pretty. And they're really easy to use as well. I just make sure I have some clean water in case I need to use a brush. So I usually have a couple brushes nearby, just like cheap ones, nothing that is really I'm worried about. So, and then I usually have like a rag. That way, if I need to mop up any spills, I can. So to use this ink, when you first get it, it has a little yellow protective barrier. What this does is it allows the paintbrush not to get the ink on it, because when they're new, if they were to ship them and let's say you were going to a different altitude, this ink would expand and then all the ink would rush to the top of this pen and you would have a big mess. So they're really smart when they do this. So basically, if you're going to start, like this one is the brown one and I haven't used it yet, I have to just remove this yellow ring and then just screw it back in place. And once you screw it back in place, the tip of the pen is going to bust through the barrier in the ink. So now it's going to allow the ink to flow. And then all you need to do is just squeeze until that ink starts to flow. Whoop, I squeezed too much. Darn it. I'm going to try to pick that up because I don't like to waste paint. But that's how it works, and then you can just color away with it. So I'm just going to try to pick that up to the best of my ability, and then we're going to call it a day on that. I like to save ink if I can, and I like to save my supplies if I can, but I'm going to wipe that away. Okay. So that's how you get those started, and just be careful, don't be like me and squeeze it all out. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one I want to use is this color here. This is called the Beach color, and all I'm going to do is color her arms. And it's really a very vibrant color that is coming through. Let me see if I can get you a white piece of paper so you can see it clearly. Now whenever you're coloring on vellum, you can use regular markers. So if you have a regular marker or cheap set, you know, you don't have to have an expensive set. You can just use what you have on hand and it'll work just fine. The only marker that doesn't really perform on vellum is a Copic marker. And all I'm doing is lightly touching my paper with the brush. Okay. She looks a little bit sunburnt. So there are some things that you can do if you feel like that might be too much, you can always try to pick up the ink a little bit, so I'll just pick it up a little bit. And you can put it back on your craft mat, or you can just throw it away, wipe it off on something. Ooh. Okay, and if you wanted to give her a little bit of a darker look to the edges maybe, you could just add a little bit of brown and then start to blend that in. You see how I use my brush, my other brush besides just this brush that comes with the set, with the pen, the ink. That way I can move it around a little bit. One thing to notice though is if you decide that, oh, I don't really like this and you can't seem to really get it off, then you can try to blend it with alcohol solution. So 91% alcohol like you get at Target would be fine. I like to use a blending solution by Tim Holtz, and that's just an alcohol blending solution, and I'll link up to that as well. So the next thing I want to do is color her hair. So I'm going to color her hair pink because I like to be different. And I like to work in smaller sections so that I can add different colors. So I'm going to do a little pink and a little purple. And all I'm doing is just continuing to add color, and I'm blending it a little bit with the ink pen or ink brush. So I'm going to go ahead and color the rest of her. So that means I'll fast forward through the video so you don't have to see me continue just to color, because all I'm doing is coloring right now. It's not that exciting to watch, so I'll forward it. Okay, before I get too far into coloring this image, some of you have noticed that I'm using a painter's brush, a paintbrush. Well, I wanted to show you why I was using that. I went ahead and got the alcohol blending solution that I told you I like to use. This one is Tim Holtz alcohol blending solution, and I just put a little couple drops over here in the corner of my Ranger's craft mat. What that allows me to do is come in and add some color here. Maybe I'm going to add some of this purple, and it allows me not to get the streaks, because when you color things sometimes you get streaks and by using this blending solution you can, move the ink a little bit more. And almost kind of paint it on. So it's an option for you, especially if you aren't really satisfied with how it's coming, your beautiful artwork. Maybe you want to blend some things together. So I wanted to share that with you. Alright, I will proceed with my coloring. The next color I think I'm going to use, so what I used for the hair, I used the starfish color, and then I went ahead and used the jellyfish color. So now I'm going to use some of this pretty Byron Bay color and maybe some of the coral color in the dress as well. I'll probably also use yellow. So there's a lot of other colors here. Pirate's Gold I'll probably use. I'm just going to pick some things here and there as I see it start to come to life. I'm sure I'll pick other colors, but there's Blue Bottle, and then there's also Seaweed. That might make it into her dress. I'll let you know for sure in the final. Okay, she's currently drying right now. I think she looks pretty good. There are a couple things that I did that I'm not really happy with the results. For example, instead of using the alcohol blending solution that I told you to use, I came in here because I wanted to create kind of a watercolor effect. And when I did that, I added a little bit too much water, which kind of warped the vellum. So gluing this down is going to be fun, but I don't think we're going to have a problem with it. And anytime I do Bible journaling, I usually don't throw my work away because it's always a way to just improve, and I kind of try to embrace my mistakes when I can. So I would encourage you that when you're not happy with something, to try to work it. Of course, you can always throw it away, but for me, it's always a reminder of, I'm not perfect and I'm always growing, and so I like to keep it in there for that reason. Now, what I will try to do is work with it. So I've got this kind of watercolor effect going, which is what I wanted, but now that it's there, I'm not really impressed with it. So I'm going to go ahead and color over it and see if we can get something I'm happier with. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So I've placed her on the page, and I think she's going to look great where she is. So now all I need to do is add the glue to the back of this element. To do that, I just place her in. There's a bunch of paper towels here so that my box can continue to be used time and time again. And I'm just going to add some spray glue to her. You can use any adhesive to apply your vellum. It's just important to get a really nice coat, an even coat. Otherwise, you're going to get splotchiness in your vellum. Okay, here's what's really cool about using the vellum. I was able to add the vellum in here, and I don't know, but you really can't see. I know I definitely can't see, so I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up. But you can't really see the vellum around here that I didn't cut closely. So it looks like it's just like I drew her on top of the page. And this is really good because sometimes when we're, working with things we don't like, if you were to create something on vellum and use the techniques that we talked about today and you didn't like it, you wouldn't be stuck with it in your Bible, and you wouldn't think that you ruined your Bible. But like I said, I mean, for me, it's always about not being perfect and remembering who I am and continuing to grow. And I have no problem with putting things in my Bible that I'm not excited or happy about. So this is how you use vellum in your Bible, and I hope that this video was helpful to you. I will go ahead and link below to their new digital stamp line. I'm super excited that they're here, and I hope that you guys have fun, and I would love to see you guys maybe post some stuff over in our community. Our community is Bible Journaling for Beginners on Facebook. Alright, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thanks so much, and you have a wonderful day. Bye!